Welcome back to Jerusalem Dateline. Recently, we traveled to Kurdistan and met with retired U.S. General Jay Garner, who has extensive experience in the region. He told us how U.S. policy is failing one of our most trusted allies in the region, the people of Kurdistan. What do people need to know, say in the U.S., talking to people, and what do they need to know about what's happening, especially up here in northern Iraq and the Kurdish area?
Well, what they need to know is that the only people that are successfully fighting ISIS is the Kurdish Peshmerga, and that's the Syrian Pesh, the Iraqi Pesh, the Turkish Pesh, and the Iranians not so much. You got a country here of 4.5, 5 million people that are totally pro-American, more so than we're pro-American. They're in one of the most strategic locations in the world, in the Middle East for us. To their east is our enemy Iran, to the south is our enemy Shia Iraq, to the west is our enemy Syria, and to the north is what we call a NATO ally, Turkey, which gives you great lines of communication. So you're in for a military guy, it's a military man's dream. I mean, you're at a perfect place where you could strike out of there at any of your enemies, plus you got support in the north with an ally. And so if we want them to be successful, as they have been against ISIS, then we need to give them the equipment to do so. I mean, for God's sakes, we equipped the Iraqi army with some of the most modern equipment in the world, and they fled. They had less than around 1,000 people enter Iraq last August, and four divisions, 65,000 Iraqis fled and left their equipment on the ground. So we overnight, we made ISIS the best armed terrorist organization in the world. In fact, one of the best armed armies in the world.
What about right now there's been reports that the Russians are coming in to Syria in a greater way?
The Russians have a 56-year-old treaty with Syria. You know, they made it with Bashar Assad's father. And from that, they have supplied the Syrians over the years Russian equipment, and they get a warm weather port out of it. And it's their only friend in the Arab world, their only ally in the Arab world. And the Russians, Putin is not going to let that go away. So he's putting forces in there to defend Assad. And so the problem there is if he puts fighter aircraft in there and they begin to put in airstrikes against rebel forces while we're putting in airstrikes against Assad forces, how do you deconflict all that? And it's a tinderbox. I mean, it could cause some great problems between the two of us.
If you were advising or implementing U.S. policy in the region, what would you do?
The first thing I'd do in this region is to recognize that both Syria and Iraq are not going to come back together again. I mean, Iraq is going to be 3 cantons or 3 federal areas. Syria is going to be at least that much too. I mean, I think, and both of them are going to have a caliphate where ISIS is now for several years. In Syria, you'll have an Alawite section, and you'll have a Kurdish section. In Iraq, you'll have a Kurdish section and a Shia section, and the caliphate's the Sunni section. So I'd recognize that for what it is. And then I would drastically increase the measures we're taking against terrorist elements, ISIS and the offshoots of ISIS, offshoots of Al-Qaeda, that are going around now in Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, Libya. It has to be stopped. And I would try to unite the Sunni Arabs to help me do that. I would absolutely guarantee the survival of Israel.